Hello, and welcome to another episode of The Ghost in the Magazine. I'm Steph,
I'm Sadie.
And I'm Elle.
and this week's movie is Saw, kicking off Sawtember here at
Ooh,
GITM.
September. Better than Halloween for me. Not really. Halloween is top
Okay,
tier.
so me and my friend Billy here,
hmm
we want to talk about this movie. So, can we just first talk about how, like, the death grip this movie had on America was a cultural phenomenon when Saw dropped?
Oh my God, yeah, it was so crazy. And like I saw the first one in theaters because I don't remember, I think it might have been a date or something that dragged me along. And like it was just riveting ride with everyone in that room. And then it just caught on like so hard. And I love it.
Okay, so I did not see it in movie theater. I was not allowed to. Also, what year does this movie come
I might have
out?
not seen it like when it originally came out, but like I think they might have been doing like some sort of screening bullshit thing because I live in Minnesota.
2004.
2000.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2004. I was like in eighth or ninth grade. That was
Okay,
not
so then it was in theaters. I think I saw it in theaters for like a Saw run later on. But like when I first saw this movie, I was too young to be watching this fucking movie.
yeah,
Mhm,
and I didn't see it right away.
mhm.
I actually didn't see it for a while because in my mind, I'd never seen Hostel, and to me, I equated Hostel with Saw.
It's close, but not really. It's kind of the same vibes, but in a more nuanced, fucked up way.
See, and that's how I feel now after seeing Saw. I don't think I will ever go back and watch Hostel. I don't think I'll ever do it. So if that's anyone's favorite movie on this podcast, I am so sorry. But I
It's
just
not mine. I fucking hate Hostel. Like I
Oh, I
watched
don't
it once and
remember
I was
it.
like, once is enough. I'm good.
Mm.
you watched it? Oh,
I don't remember it. I
Mhm.
don't I don't remember watching it, so
okay. So
No, yeah. I think, yo, yeah. So the first time I saw this movie was in my house with my brother and my dad and my sister. So we were all just like, I know we weren't supposed to be watching it because what dad is making you watch age appropriate movies like ever. But I didn't sleep for like a week. I slept with the lights on because I was afraid of being kidnapped by pig mask people and this fucking puppet.
I just honestly don't think that I really understood what was happening. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that I was just way too young to understand
hmm
what was happening in this movie.
I think that was
Um,
the case for me too. And then once I rewatched it as an adult, I was like, fuck yeah. Like this is amazing.
Um, the first time I watched it as an adult, I didn't feel that way
That's
at
fair.
all. Um, it was just a lot for me. That was before my evolution as a gore girl, but that started just like a couple of years ago.
Fair
Um,
enough.
so it was just really hard to watch. But rewatching this now, um, so good, and I like how grainy it looks, and it's
Yeah.
nostalgia filter, and I had a really good time.
Oh yeah, no, I love the first one. The first one obviously is the basis, the classic, the all of it. And like I like the origin of it because like Saw started as like a student film experimentation thing and then it got yeah, you can still watch the student film on YouTube actually, and it has the reverse bear trap as the original trap. And
Mm.
it saw 1 point something, but then the student film got picked up for the movie. So the people who wrote the original student film are the directors of this whole thing, and they had a budget enough for this like one room sort of area warehouse, and so this whole thing was shot in basically like one fucking space.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
I think that that leads to the like best fucking movies. Okay, so
Yeah,
this was
absolutely.
before,
They
and
had their vision and they were like, we're gonna get it done.
yes, okay, and so then that brings you to 2023. Um,
Mhm.
talk to me is literally set to be like the best horror movie of 2023, and there are a lot of good ones coming out this year. Two YouTubers started that, and so then this is their directorial debut, and it's got like it's popping like this. I love that. I
Yeah,
love
I loved it. When I found that out, I was like, that's so cool. And I went and watched the original like student film because it's still up on YouTube. And it like, yeah, they really went for it. And it's like, damn, they turned this whole thing into a fucking franchise. That is amazing.
yeah.
Mm,
Okay, let's get into it. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's get into the traps.
So I mean, where does it start? It starts with these two guys, Dr.
Leonard.
Gordon and
Oh,
then what? Dr. What?
I'm pretty sure his name's Leonard. I don't know why.
Yeah, it might be Leonard Gordon, but I just remember
Yeah.
just referring him as
Gordon.
Dr. Gordon, and then you've got Adam, and they wake up in this fucking disgusting, derelict, dark fucking bathroom.
The
Like,
dude in the middle of the
with
floor.
a dead dude in the middle of the floor, blood everywhere, and that's really how you kick it off. And it's like you don't know where you're going from there, but you find out that they're both in there for a reason. I don't know if the reason is revealed immediately why they're related to each other at all, but the only way for Dr. Gordon to get out of the room is to kill Adam in
Yeah.
a specific amount of time, and he'll be free. And they gotta kind of wrestle with those choices and why they know each other and what it's all about. And there's clues everywhere in the room, and it's a fun little game for those two and a little bonding moment to figure it out.
Fun is exactly the word that I would go for, but there's fucked up shit.
Yeah.
And so, like, all right, you wake up. I mean,
Mm.
it's a different kind of horror story if it was us, like women,
Yeah.
because we're going to be sex trafficked. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is. Like someone's coming in to end my life as I know it in a way that I don't want it to happen. Like,
But they're men, so it gets to be interesting.
yeah,
So, Adam wakes up in a bathtub, right?
yeah. He wakes
And
in the bathtub.
there's tape recorders with this
Mhm.
motherfucker's voice. And they have to like trust each other, and they're strangers. And then
Yeah.
that in and of itself is like the scariest thing I could imagine. Because if I woke up in a room like that with a man, I'm not believing anything that you say to me
That
at
brings
all.
me back to my barbarian thing and how I didn't believe what's his name even up until the point where he was getting his face smashed into a wall. I was like, he has something to do with this. I just know it. But he didn't, and I felt so bad. But yeah, so Dr. Gordon's chained to a pipe on one side of the room, and Adam's chained to a pipe on the other side of the room. He wakes up in this bathtub, and I think at some point in there, he's like, "How do I know you're not the one who put me in this bullshit? Like, I don't know what's going on."
Valid though, because of this
Yeah.
motherfucker in the middle of the floor. It's
Yeah, there's a
valid.
big guy. No one knows what's going on. Like,
Right, but unlike in other Saw movies, there are some questions.
yeah, there are a lot of questions because this is the beginning. It's like, what are they doing here? Why are they here? What's going on? And that I think they do really well with that when they start cutting to like the flashes of like what's going on in the outside world, and so and who's involved in the cops investigating everything, which
Yes.
is what's his name and some other dude.
What's his name and what's his face?
What's his name and what's his face? My God, I know it. It's a black guy. I should know his name. He's a
What his
famous
government name?
Danny Glover. Yeah.
Yes,
But I don't
Danny
remember.
Glover. I kept calling him Donald, and I'm like, no, he's not Mr. Gambino.
Right,
So,
no.
just like I kept calling John Kramer John Connor.
Right.
So,
Like
I was basically
completely different vibes if it was John Connor.
oops.
Right. But yeah, so you wake up with them, they're doing their thing, trying to figure out what's going on. They got the tape, they know what the goal is, but like Adam's obviously bargaining for his fucking life because he doesn't want to die there. And Dr. Gordon doesn't know what to do. You figure out that they've been investigating some dude who's been putting people in traps, and that's when you cut to Amanda and like how they've been investigating, and that the reverse bear trap that she was put into,
Yeah,
and
she was the
how
only one who survived.
the only one who survived. So you realize that Adam and Gordon are part of a whole thing of this dude who's just been putting people in these situations.
Which, the nerve of this motherfucker, okay? I'm just the gall, the audacity. And I'm gonna tell you the first instant where I was so caught watching this as an almost 33-year-old lady. When Dr. Gordon is talking to his students or whatever, and this Keb motherfucker, whatever his name, it's something weird. Keb, Jeb.
Jeb, it's Jeb.
Is it Jeb?
I believe it's Jeb. I believe it's Jeb. I think it's a stupid name like that.
Anyway, this guy pops in and is like, this man's brilliant. His name's John. And he's like, yeah. Orderlies form a special bond. You're creepy. That's creepy.
Right. What's going on, Jeb? Are you fucking the patient? Like, like, why do you care so much?
The cult of John. Like,
It is weird. But yeah, so they're like interviewing Amanda because they were bringing in someone to figure out what the fuck is going on, and she's talking about how her trap was, and so that's the reverse bear trap. She's stuck in the room, got the strap on her head. She wakes up with that. She's in a chair, and then there's a pin attached to it, attached to a timer. So once she gets out of the chair, it pulls the pin, the timer starts. The trap works by forcing your jaw open in the direction it's definitely not so fucking supposed to go, like, at all, and basically decapitating you from your mouth. But she has to go to her presumably already dead cellmate, or whatever you want to call him, on the floor and get the key out of his stomach. But she figures out that he's not dead at all, but she still gets that fucking key and gets the trap off of her head seconds before it springs. Seconds.
I'm just like literal seconds. My butthole said, which is like all my body does when I watch these movies. I had a whole physical response to this because I can't do things under pressure, including but not limited to murdering someone and getting the key out of his stomach.
Fair enough. And like when you're like, you're dead cellmate, and I'm like, that guy's not dead. He's definitely not dead. Like, at all. But then also things with mouths, like she's got these like metal pieces in her mouth, so when she gets it off, it's like blood everywhere. It's fucking gross. But she's at this police station, like, he saved me.
That was
like,
the
girl.
That was the second thing. After Jeb, he helped me. Bitch! You're gonna be a problem.
Yeah, like, that's unhealthy. You need so many hugs and a therapist, and maybe just to get back on drugs. I really don't know.
I'm not volunteering to hug Amanda.
Oh, absolutely not.
But can I just say that her presence is outstanding?
Yeah.
Any scene in any Saw movie that Amanda's in is captivating to the eyeballs.
She is getting that check. Like, she's working hard. But that's how you learn that there's the killer, and you're going back and forth between that and, like, once they start talking about the killer, they start talking about some of the fucked up traps that he's done already. And I think I want to talk about the one that makes me the most fucking mad. Is the razor wire maze. Is the one where that guy who self-harmed or tried to kill himself gets put into that box filled with razor wire and has to like crawl through it to the other side. And I'm like, that man did not deserve to be here. What the fuck?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, how dare you get cancer and decide that you're gonna start picking up people who don't appreciate their life and putting them in these situations? Who the fuck are you?
Also, you're gonna put someone who self-harms in a box full of razor wire? Isn't that a bit on the nose, dickhead? Like, just
that's literally his thing.
Right. Like, I was just like, he does not deserve to be here.
No.
This is crazy. So that's how you start to figure out that like whoever's doing this thinks they have a moral high ground, but is really just a goddamn psychopath.
How does this bitch get to determine who values their life or not? As somebody who has self-harmed in the past, I think that I value my life quite a bit, actually,
I would have to say
so.
the same. I'm like, I would not want to be put in this situation simply because I decided to take a razor to my thigh one day. Like, that's not
Mhm.
fair. I'm going to
Yeah.
therapy. Maybe you should. I don't know.
We should be in therapy, okay?
I think when you experience lows, like low lows, you experience high highs as well, and you just feel a lot. And those are the people that actually really do appreciate life. So,
And my thing is, I'm wondering if John's brain tumor is pressing up against a certain part
I
of
was
his
just thinking
brain
it.
that fucks with like rationale, because this doesn't make any sense.
mhm.
I was thinking it,
Or
and you
just
said it.
aggression.
It must be all that fucking pressure building up in his brain. He just needs a doctor to cut open his skull.
Yeah, well, that does happen later, but I think that his judgment is just off after everything and like losing or his wife leaving him and figuring out that
As
he's
she should.
dying and all that stuff. And it's just, my God. But then the other one that pissed me off is the flammable jelly trap because the guy that was the most extreme trap that I've ever seen John Kramer do. And it just felt so unnecessary and so over the top compared to some of the other stuff that he's done. Like you've got this guy locked in this dark ass room with only a candle and he's covered in extremely flammable jelly and he has to find the code to a safe with
Yeah.
numbers all over the wall in the dark
No.
or he's going to starve to death. The floor is covered in glass also, by the way, and he has no fucking shoes. I'm like, all because he scammed his job out of a little bit of insurance money.
What?
It's
Yeah,
very extreme. It was literally like in this first one, he was like, I'm gonna start doing not murders. Go big or go home.
right.
Well,
But I feel like for the jelly trap, I feel like that one was just like way, way, way. I think he was too harsh on that guy. Like, yeah, he lied to his job, but like, what the fuck?
what does that have to do with appreciating life, though? Like,
I
fuck
think it has more
capitalism,
to
fuck
do.
jobs.
I think it has more to do with like it's explained later, but John has like an axe to grind with people defaulting insurance and lying to like health companies and people that are supposed to help them. It's like a whole thing later that you find out that sort of like just makes sense why he would go after this guy, but like at the same time what the actual fuck, why is it your place to like set that straight? He stole from his job. That's not you personally. Like,
It was aggressively shake my head. So
yeah.
like even Dr. Gordon,
Mhm.
he was using John's like charts or whatever. Was he treating John? Was he one of the doctors that was treating John?
I think he was one of the doctors in the hospital that was treating him or part of his treatment team. But like by the time that he could get treatment, it's like all they could really do is radiation because the brain tumor was like inoperable. So
That's not Dr. Gordon's fault.
no,
It's
it's
not
not.
like it's not like he, half-assed a procedure on him and like malpractice him. So for
No,
him to get so fucking ass hurt that he's like, I'm gonna fuck up your life and throw you in this dungeon bathroom and I'm gonna watch.
It's not just fucking up his life and throwing him in the dungeon, he's fucking with the wife and baby as
Yeah.
well. Like, the
Yeah,
oh yeah,
baby
you find out that
didn't.
the wife and baby Jeb has them at gunpoint,
yeah.
who is also being tested for whatever reason, even though Jeb has been nothing but nice to him the
It
whole time.
worshipped him and like was popping in on fucking med student studies to tell him what
Right.
a great guy John is just for him to fucking
Put him in a trap.
yeah. Who did you think he is? Fucking
God.
asshole.
He has a god complex to the extreme.
And that's what I'm still fucked up about him
Mhm.
doing this shit. And he injects himself with some shit that slows his heart rate so they think he's dead.
Yeah.
Sit in the
Yeah, so
ew.
he can sit in with them. He has to make sure his experiment goes exactly how he wanted
Off
it.
me. Get off.
No, but yeah, so then you get that part. So you're back to I can't remember what his actual name is, so I'm just gonna say Glover, whatever. And
Danny.
yeah,
Danny.
Danny and his sidekick investigating it. So they get to this warehouse that they somehow found or whatever.
I
Mm,
remember how I thought that
yeah,
was so fun because his sidekick wanted to go get food, and this man was obsessed. He was like, and he's
right,
watching the videos, and then he hears like a fire alarm, and he's like, "Wait a minute,
right.
what was that gang? Whatever." And they're like, "All right, find all the fire calls." I thought that was so
That was some
cool.
detective shit right there.
Hell
Yeah.
yeah, he was detective.
Not something real cops in real life would ever pay attention to, but definitely they found that place. And then so they get there and John's fucking there and he's got this guy in this chair with like two drills that are like about to drill into this man's temporal lobes to kill him. And he gives them a choice. He's like, you can either chase me or you can save him. Like, those are your options. So they chose both. One stayed to save the guy, and one chased him. And that's how you get down to the shotgun trap because Danny's partner goes to chase the dude and gets his fucking face blown off by
From the
shotgun.
top, make it
Yeah.
drop. That was disrespectful, but it was shotgun from the top down.
Yeah, it was. They managed to save the guy because he didn't even deactivate the machine. He just shot the fucking drill bits off so the guy wouldn't get fucking murdered. But his partner, he goes to find him and he's been blown to fucking smithereens by 4 shotguns.
Right, and it had a tripwire, but like, why are you running willy nilly through a madman's fucking warehouse when he's a trap dog?
Yeah, and he told you it's like you can either catch me and survive, or you can save this dude and leave me the fuck alone. Like, but you're like, nah, I'm just gonna go running.
I would get back up. I'm not as smart as this guy. I'm not.
The amount of times John like slinks away for how old and apparently sick he's supposed to be is goddamn ridiculous.
Really.
Like, what are you doing? Do you have a moped or something hidden here? A Segway? Like, what's going on?
Him evil geniusing, like scootering through the warehouse.
You never catch me, comers. Like, fuck you.
Someone's in his brain. I just don't understand how he keeps getting away with this shit. It's in his brain.
It's got to be like at just the right spot that makes him like aggressive and diabolical, but doesn't like impair him at all. Right. Which, like, is that a problem actually?
It was. He's using it as a fucking problem at this point. Yeah. Because it was like he was a brilliant like engineer and like really smart, and like because he got this brain tumor, like that all got taken away from him. And the reason he decided to start doing this is because he decided that he was just going to kill himself. So he drove his car off a cliff, and when he lived through that, he realized he needed to appreciate life. And I think it knocked something loose in his fucking brain, because then he was like, well, I need to figure out how to make other people appreciate life in the most fucked up way possible.
Fucking dumb. Fucking dumb. Dedicate that big daddy brain power to curing cancer.
Right, but I think his near-death experience made him think that a near-death experience for everyone would work the same way, and it won't. It really won't.
He's not really designing near-death experiences. He's designing gruesome ways to kill people. He doesn't intend for them to get out.
He's not a murderer. He does. He's not a murderer.
He's not a murderer. He makes that very clear. They have a choice, live or die. There is always a way out. It's just whether or not they get out.
Whether or not they're smart enough.
I don't know. No, that's not. I don't care.
No, I was saying like in our last, when we were talking about top 3, it's like, yeah, it's very Manson-esque. Like, I didn't go stab the lady. I just told them to go do it. Like, you may have given them a choice, but you're expecting people to act rationally in a high stress situation to get out.
Yeah, not just that, like you're talking about the flammable jelly trap. Like, what fucking chance did he actually have?
Right.
Logistically. Not much. And
it's like you only gave him a candle and you had all these numbers written on the wall, and like you expected him to be able to figure out the combination and barely be able to move around. He can't have the candle
glass on the floor.
Yeah, with the glass on the floor.
I got the tiniest sliver of glass in my foot once. I was down. I had to get that out.
And it's the same thing with the razor wire guy, because like no offense to him, but like he's overweight. You want him to play fucking like limbo with razor wire to get to the other side of the room in like 60 seconds without shredding his body to pieces. Like, you know what you're doing, but you're trying to justify it in some way that makes no sense to me. Just because you survived your suicide attempt, now you got to make it everybody else's fucking problem. Like, that's not my fault. Try again. Leave me out of it, though.
Sounds like an asshole to me. Let's talk about how Gordon and Adam know each other.
Okay, yes. Let's start with Adam. Adam is a private detective. He spends his life spying on people, basically, is what John amounts to.
Called him a voyeur.
And helping a lawyer. Does he helping a lawyer? Or
no, he called him a voyeur.
Oh, like, voyeur. Yeah, he called him a voyeur. So he didn't like that. He's exposing people's secrets. That's his whole job. And the only reason he knows Dr. Gordon is because he was hired by John to spy on Dr. Gordon, but he didn't know that. But Dr. Gordon's having an affair. Or he really wasn't. He was going to have an affair, and then he didn't. But
Oh, I thought that they had been meeting up and that
no,
this time
that was the first time that they had met up, and then he decided he wasn't going to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, so he never had the affair. But since Adam had the pictures, it seemed like he did. But he didn't. He never had the affair. It never happened.
Damn.
Yeah.
And like he wasn't in there long, so like I feel like,
I mean, some people
Adam knew also he didn't have the affair.
It's not always a 20-minute session, but I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, Carrie Elvis. I'm sure you last very long. I don't know, but like, I'm just saying, he didn't need to be in there long, but he never had the affair. So that's how they're connected, is that Adam has the proof of this supposed affair and was hired by Jigsaw to like follow him around and document his misdeeds, but he doesn't know he was hired by Jigsaw. He has no idea who hired him at all. But now it's like he's got to kill this guy because that's how he gets out of the room, or try to save him. So I think at some point they both decide that they're going to try to figure out how to get out of there together, because the reason they're both in there doesn't make any sense, because he never had the affair.
Yeah.
Adam wasn't sent to like destroy him. He doesn't even know who fucking hired him. Like,
yeah. And Kramer's an ass. It starts to get like beyond the traps though. It starts to get to be way too much when they're showing like Jeb is like, oh, your husband's taking way too long, and he's got the mom and the daughter, and he's like gonna kill them, and that whole scene was like a lot.
That's my thing too with John, is like he's constantly dragging people who have nothing to do with what's going on with these other people into these traps.
I think
like the mom and daughter don't have shit to do with this. Why are they part of it?
I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Like, that little girl does not deserve to be part of this situation. The mom was a badass though. She was like, you are not killing me or my fucking kids. Sorry. Like, it's not happening.
I love that.
But I think what's funny is like at some point you can see, it's not funny but kind of sad, Dr. Gordon trying to like level with like an easy way to kill Adam without having to feel bad about it. So at one point he like dips the cigarette in like the poisoned blood to try to give to him, but then decides not to do that. They find like those that's how they figure out how they're connected, because they turn off the lights and there's that like glowing like X on the wall. So they crack it open, and in there's a box, and the box has like the pictures of his wife and his kids, and then there's the gun, and there's the cigarettes, and there's all that shit. Yeah, it's just a lot. It's like, you took the time to plan this. Like, you could have literally done anything else, like with any of this. Like, but either way, anything
with your fucking time.
Yeah, he decides not to kill Adam, but they're trying to figure out how to get out of there. And then at a certain point, it just becomes a frenzied desperation, because now Dr. Gordon knows, like, if he doesn't get out, his wife and daughter are going to be murdered. So that's when the whole pinnacle of the Saw movie comes in, when this man starts sawing off his own fucking foot.
I could probably, if push came to shove, and my mom was in danger,
Mm-hmm.
probably saw off my own foot. I just couldn't do the blunt object shit. Leave me to
So,
die.
I mean,
Leave.
to be fair, he does shoot Adam, but it's already too late. But Adam doesn't die from being shot. I think he just kind of clipped him. But to saw off your own leg is just their foot. Nope, can't do it. We're both dying in here together.
I might
Sorry.
because it's sharp. You know, I got little flimsy ankles anyway.
So
I
do
feel
I, but I'm not sawing them off.
like I could if I
That's
absolutely.
very much a mind over matter thing, and I
I'll
can't
use
do
my
it.
mom because I'm like, nobody's fucking killing my mom. I'll
Well,
slap my ankle
you and
for
I
her.
differ in that sense. Like,
That's what my mom's too precious for this world. So like,
yeah.
I'm
So
gonna footless stuff. She's coming to get you, bitch. Like,
mhm. It's just crazy to me. So like, yeah, he manages to do all that, and it's like his wife. He didn't really need to go save his wife anyway because his wife was like, "I'm not dying like this. I don't give a fuck." They figured that stuff out. Dr. Gordon's like, "I'll come back for you, I swear." So he gets out of the room, and then the twist that had everybody's panties at the bunch is that the body on the floor,
yada yada yada.
not dead the entire time.
No, it's this old ass fucking bitch getting a front row seat of his crazy.
Yeah, but that shit blew my mind the way he like
Oh
slowly
yeah.
stood up
I was like,
and like peeled the gunshot like shit off his face and like just turned and looked at Adam and didn't really say a whole lot and then like slowly lumbers out of the room and then the last thing he says is game over and like
just closes the fucking
shut.
door.
Yeah.
Where do they sell the John Kramer kit at Spirit Halloween?
Yeah, maybe. I just thought that was crazy. It furthers on the way he chooses to watch traps changes, but this one felt real personal because you
Oh
were in
yeah,
the room the entire time.
yeah, and
Knew
that
what
glow
tricks they were trying to play when they were like turning off the lights and like trying to whisper to each other so the camera couldn't
yeah,
see what they were
didn't
doing.
matter because he was there.
None of it mattered. He was right there.
But literally, that floor's fucking filthy.
Yeah.
Like,
That whole bathroom is disgusting.
and his face is in.
Yeah, and his little fake blood or whatever that he filled with poison, I guess, or whatever. But it's like
Dude.
Zep. Oh, his name is Zep, not Jep. It's Zep.
Oh,
Zep Hindle, the guy who had the
that was sad.
yeah. We said Jed, which is close enough. Um, I said Jed, but Zep. But yeah, what was Zep's actual test other than like I can't remember the reason he was being put through
It
anything.
was. I feel like it was very glossed over. I feel like that they should have spent a little bit more time there on
Mhm.
his.
He ended up dying anyway because Gordon's wife killed him, so it didn't really matter in the
Yeah,
end.
good for her.
The way he gets up, it just like blew my mind because you really forgot about the dead body in the room with everything else going on for like the entire movie other than when he like reaches to like get the gun out of his hand and because they find the bullet in the box and all that stuff and or when he tries to use the blood to poison Adam, but you forget about him until Adam's stuck in the room begging like Gordon to come back and all this other stuff. And then in true Saw fashion with the theme song and that beautiful cinematography moment, he just starts slowly standing up and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
That Saw music slaps.
It does. And it's the best theme song, I swear. And like I just like the cinematography too in the movie, and like the way they shot the reverse bear trap really added to like the anxiety of the whole fucking situation with all the camera cuts and the shaking and shit. But you find out like they still don't catch him. He gets away. And you can tell by that point the cancer hadn't completely destroyed him because when he set the strap, he still had some weight on him. Like he was still looking pretty decent before he started looking, like he was falling apart at the bone. But it's just how could you he's obviously not a rational human being, but I just can't rationalize like you laid there the entire time knowing that you're playing a game with these people and they're doing their best to get out of it.
Rationality is not a word that we should use talking about this movie at all.
Right, but that part blew my mind, and I think that's what had me hooked at the beginning to these movies, because like that was the twist that I just like never saw coming the first time I saw this movie.
It was very twisty.
Yeah.
Elle, how do you feel in our final minutes?
The first time I watched this was
Mhm.
with my mom. I remember not liking it, but that's pretty typical of me, like just for the type of movie it is. But
Mhm.
watching it back, it's not the worst. It's not how I remembered it. I didn't hate it. I didn't have a terrible time. I was very hungover and I did zone out a lot, but I would watch it again, to be honest with you, which I didn't think I would
Yeah.
say.
Right.
Oh
I've seen
yeah.
these like too many times, so of course I would watch it because I've watched them all a bunch. But I don't know. The first one just has like a different vibe and different, just complete element to it, and it's very less gory. There is gore, there is the traps, there is all of that, but it's more of a cerebral, like fucking with your head, like what is
Mhm.
morally right in this situation, and also you feel like you're stuck with Adam and Gordon trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. You have no idea what's going on and like why
Mhm.
they're there in the first place. And I think that part of it was fun too, because you're like, why are they in this room? And what is this dude up to? And like, who is Jigsaw? Why is he doing this to people? Like, what is going on? This is crazy. But you know, when they first run into him and he's like, I'm not a murderer. I've never murdered anyone. And I'm like,
Like,
by whose standards? Like yours? Because
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Ghost in the Magazine podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at GITM Podcast, or you can find us on the internet at ghostinthemagazine.site. You can follow Stef on Twitter at WitchXPudding. You can follow me, Elle, at Nocturnical, and you can follow Sadie at Sadie B.
Okay, bye.